I haven't a lot of time left because the sun's going down. Wrapping up my walking today. I am this close to killing that dog. I am not lying. He won't stop barking. He breaks the tranquility. I have to be very careful because a lot of times he'll sleep in the shed and I can sneak. But not the past few days. Not well. As you can tell, it is very, very, very cold. I embrace the cold, I like it. But today, it's just a little much. Ever since I started to diet and exercise, I've lost a good couple layers of insulation. What really I kind of wanted to talk about today. Something I'm rather proud of myself for. And that is that I have made strides in the past 9 months to become a more healthier person. So on May 15th, I believe, 2019, I went into the doctor. Now, the reason I was going to the doctor in the first place was because I had high blood pressure and I was drinking too much. And I knew why my blood pressure was high, but I did something a lot of people do. I lied to the doctor. Well, I lied by omission. I just didn't tell him I was drinking much. Every adult probably, every adult drinks to some extent, most likely. The majority that have stressful jobs or hell, I don't know, who don't believe it'll send them to eternal damnation. Maybe they drink, right? I became quite subdued by the idea of drinking. Ugh. If I could stare daggers at him and make him understand that I'm going to fillet him if he doesn't stop, he won't get it. Anyway, it breaks my concentration. So, May 15th, 2019, I go to the doctor and I start a conversation with the guy. Now, since March of the same year, I had been quite inactive. I had surgery on my eyes, which we'll talk about some other time. And I had been drinking a lot. Drinking for me was a source of relief from stress and worry. And so I drink all the time. Needless to say, once I was drunk, good and sauced up, I would begin to get hungry. And because inhibition was completely gone to the wind, I would order all kinds of food, sometimes from more than one place. I knew and was very aware of those choices. I was aware that I was heavy, but I had no reason, really, to worry about it. What are the reasons that you worry about being fat? Other than health-related things, which I just dismissed, right? Well, mobility, I guess, can move fine. I might be big, but I have the bones and muscles to carry that. Another reason is to be attractive. Ah, yes. To be attractive to a mate, you should be fit. It's more desirable. I didn't have any problem with that either. So, when I was drunk, I made up for. I think this anyway. I can't be for sure. It has to be true. I guess I made up for the weight with my inhibitions being gone, my charisma boosting, my confidence boosting, and then I don't know, I was able to talk my way into. Anyway, I never looked at the scale. When I stood on it every single time, I never looked. I was scared. But I told myself, because I knew I was big, I found a picture of myself from back in 2013. And back then I weighed 260 pounds, I believe. That was the lowest I got back then. I'd always been big. I was a little kid, about this big, and then one summer, it was like in 3 months, I was big. So much so that my friend, who we had gone to different schools in middle school, he didn't recognize me. It wasn't until we pulled out a yearbook, and I'm like, yeah, I'm that guy. He blew his mind. Puberty wasn't some long, drawn-out process for me. It happened rather quickly, and at an opportune time. During the summer, when I wasn't at school, I didn't have to worry about a whole lot of crap. So anyway, I looked at the scale. Can you guess what 3-digit number appeared? 325 pounds. Oh, dear golly. That was a lot of Sams. That was like 5-6 Sams or something. I don't know. I can't even. Anyway, Sam was with me. And I think he noticed I was quite alarmed. I was taken aback by what had happened. I knew from after a horrible thing, not a horrible thing, after a major life event in 2015, I had basically given up taking care of myself. Became lax, didn't care, drank. I started drinking. If you aren't aware, drinking alcohol is pretty high in calories. So I sat down with the doctor, and as a means to start to just get healthier in general. My thought was, if I invest time to get healthy, I stand to gain only good things. Only good. And by the end of it, I don't have to come to the doctor any longer, because I've most likely alleviated all of the ailments that anchored me to them for so long. Coincidentally, my mother, I love her to death. My mother and father, actually, they came to me not too shortly before that and told me that they were going to get bariatric surgery. It's also known as gastric bypass. I think they're synonymous. And because of that, I was quite irritated. I was irritated for many reasons, not because I have anything against bariatric surgery. I was irritated with my father because my father has an insane ability to lose weight. He's done it like 3 times in my life, where he's gone from a massive 420 pounds down to 250. My dad's a huge man, tall. He's like, I think he's 6'5". I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm cut from the cloth. My mother's tiny. You can only imagine how big he is. The biggest of all of his brothers. Scary as hell. But he did this 3 times. He has insane discipline. So basically, he was taking the coward easy way out when he knew damn well all he had to do was diet and walk. And he would lose that weight like nothing. So to see my father succumb to the sloth, that was upsetting. My mother, on the other hand, it's a different story. I don't want to make anyone angry, but I don't really care either. At the same time, I don't give a shit. But one thing that I have noticed, and one thing that has turned me off of the idea of dieting or fad diets or anything like that, has been that I have seen my entire life people tell, or I've heard people tell me, I'm on a diet now. I'm on a diet. I'm starting this new diet. I'm starting this new diet. Yeah, Monday I'm starting this new diet. And then this diet. And then this diet, you can only eat this and that. And this diet, you can only drink juices. And guess what? Lasts not even a day or a week. You walk in, you see him eating some cupcakes. And you're like, what? I thought you said you were dieting. Yeah, I'm going to get back to that tomorrow. They never get back to it. Growing up around all of that, that's a bad taste in my mouth. Now, to my mother's credit, I didn't actually ever see her like attempting to diet. She told me she was, but I didn't pay much attention to my mother's eating habits as a child or an adolescent. So I just kind of plugged in the only constant about my mother that I did know, and that's that she loved Sonic. Sonic is a fast food chain in America. It's a drive-in fast food chain. Curbside assistance. You don't even got to get out of the damn car. And from 2 to 4 o'clock every day, it's happy hour. And that means that any drink, any fountain drink, is half price. Now, they're already really, really cheap. Very cheap. So let's take a Route 44 drink, which is like a whopping, like 60 ounce cup. It's huge. It's stupid. And let's take that from $3 and something down to $1 and some change. Now, where I live, I don't know if this is a national constant, but where I live, having a Sonic drink or having a Starbucks drink in hand is almost an essential accessory to the females. You see them with them all the time. It's not so much that they like the drink. I think it's the cup. So much so that they buy branded, reusable, like thermos mugs. Anyway, I'm ranting now for 13 minutes. That's the point of this, though. So I see her drinking those constantly. She doesn't stop. She just keeps going. But yet she's dieting. That pains me. That irritates me a lot. It does take discipline. It takes vigilance. It takes a lot of negative feeling. You have to retrain yourself. And I told her I thought it was foolish. If you would just stop drinking the cola, if you would just stop eating the burgers, if you would just stop upsizing your order to like jalapeno poppers, you'd lose it. You'd shed the weight, I swear. She didn't want to hear that. It's all based on insurance here. If you got good insurance or government insurance and you got a doctor that'll say whatever needs to be said, they'll pay for it. And so she went ahead and decided to go through with that. So, a few days later, I'm in the doctor. I'm looking at the weight. It's burned into my brain now. I weigh 325 pounds. And I have no room to talk to my mom and dad. And so, one of the things that you hear is a great idea when you start a diet, especially if you have some health conditions, is that you should consult a physician. Well, that's not easy here in America. It's not cheap. So while I was getting checked up for my 3-month checkup for my medication, I decided to ask what he thought. I thought it was a great idea. He said, "Do you have any plans?" I said, "Not yet. But I know that a fad diet would agitate me. And I don't know how they work. I don't know, like, the meta of a fad diet. Like, anything here in America you have to take with a grain of salt. You have to assume that behind the scenes, there's some incentive for you, or for it not to be successful, because they keep making money off of it. But with the diet, I mean, that's not a problem here, especially where the normal portion sizes are 3-4 times an actual portion size. So that was the first thing. My idea. I said, "Mom, if you create a caloric deficit," which simply means not consuming 2,000 calories, which is the recommended daily allotment for a female. If you cut that into a deficit and only consume 1,500 calories a day, you have no choice but to start to lose some weight. Now, I know that's not true for everybody. I'm not here to play doctor. I'm not that. That's just science. So, for a normal person, that's what you got. That's what you get to deal with. For a man, it's 2,500. And there's some other, surely, equations. But if you do that, you start to lose weight, unless you've got some kind of like thyroid bullshit or something. I don't know. So, she insisted that wasn't true for her. Okay. I'm ignorant to her issues. I don't know the answers. And so, that was step one. Create a calorie deficit for yourself. That's not easy to do. So I start to think back, what are all the diet issues? Like, what are all the things about watching others trying to diet? Why have they failed? Because grounded in the reality of whatever bullshit you hear on TV or whatever crap you hear on the news or see at the CVS or whatever, this is all rooted here, not anywhere else but in your mind. Everything you deal with is psychological. Any struggle you have is a psychological struggle, even if it doesn't seem like it is. And so I knew myself well enough to say the first thing I have to do is I have to change my psychology. I have to work on these tiny little things in my life that keep me eating. You don't understand how much you reach for food as a means to pacify your boredom. Boredom eating. That was the first thing. My night would consist of coming home, plopping down in my computer chair, cracking open a fifth of vodka, taking a swig, watching some bullshit, wasting my life away. If Sam was with me, helping him with his homework, all the while my dopamine factories are going off because I got that fifth of vodka and some kind of bullshit food waiting for me. And when he went to bed, it was game on. So, if I'm not going to do that, I have to find something to occupy that time. But on top of that, that may not be enough. I need multiple levels. I need some Inception level psychological bullshit. So I need to make it harder to eat too. Now, unfortunately, fortunately for me, Waiter, DoorDash, all those food delivery services, they did not exist here yet. So that wasn't an option. The Pizza Hut, I mean, if I hadn't succeeded, the Pizza Hut would have been a problem. But during my drought of food, the Pizza Hut moved. After 20-something years, they picked up and moved across town. They didn't deliver to me anymore. I had to rearrange. I had to make it as hard as I could, inconvenient for me to eat. So a good example of that was turning my refrigerator all the way around. And yeah, it didn't look good. And yeah, it may not have been safe, who knows? But you know what? If I wanted to open that damn fridge, I had to turn that heavy sucker around first. And I had to turn it back. Next, we buy shit to eat. Processed bullshit. Pre-prepared everything, if you can think of. Anything. We take it out of the bag, we place it in the fridge. We place it in the pantry. Not everything is ready to eat, but most things are. And if it's not ready to eat, then it only takes a couple minutes. Microwave had to go, and it did. Microwave. Oops, I squirted cleaner into the element. Boom, it's gone. It was a shitty microwave. I didn't like it anyway. But it was there, it could be used. I took all the food that was easy. Granola bars, Pop-Tarts, canned cheese, anything that had a calorie that I could pull out of the microwave and place in my mouth and derive pleasure from was eliminated. The only thing allowed in that fridge required 4 to 5 to 6 steps to make. I had to prepare it. Then you tackle work. Work is a fickle bitch, all right? I calculated an entire day's worth of eating, just a normal day. I was like, go about your day, happy, stupid, and fat. Keep going. Okay. By 6:30 a.m., I had purchased about 1,400 calories. Every morning I got this piece of breakfast pizza from the gas station down the road. Been doing it for years, going there every morning. This wasn't a piece of pizza. This was like 3 pieces. It was like a quarter of a pizza. An entire quarter. Quarter section. And some like bullshit coffee energy drink. Oh God, another car. And so I did that. And so by the time I got to work, I was more than halfway to my goal. More than halfway This truck's gonna pass me. Let's see if we can get a conversation out of him this time. I don't know if you saw my video that I posted the other day, but there are plenty of people that come back here for seemingly no reason. This gentleman is getting out. Perhaps he's walking toward me. I am unable to tell. My eyes are crap. No, he's visiting. That's the first time I've seen somebody visit. Here's another one. Right behind me. Too bad I'm not live streaming. If I go down, ain't gonna be nobody to help me. It's a Dodge Ram white. Black jeans. They all seem to be visiting. I guess I'll cut that out. Or will I? It's probably time to leave. So, where was I? Basically, I had hit so many calories by the time I got to work, I didn't really have any to spare. But I was going about my day just like normal. And I cannot tell you the amount of times that I was offered food by people, coworkers. Absolute insanity. How many times they offered me food. So much food, candy and sweets and whatnot. It was absolutely crazy. So, first step, retrain. Retrain your body. Retrain your mind. Retrain your habits. And retrain your friends' habits. So, my friends were a big issue. My coworkers, my peers, my colleagues, whatever. They were trained to give me food. Just like a damn animal in a zoo, right? They knew that that was a nice thing to do for someone, and they knew I would eat it. They knew I enjoyed that stuff. And I did. Of course I did. Who wouldn't? So, the first step is understanding their psychology. Just as many times as I've heard, hey, I'm on a diet, so have they. And it's never true, rarely true. So, I had to continue to be vigilant with what I said until finally they got the hint and stopped offering me food. At some point, it becomes not funny to tempt someone on a diet. At some point, it becomes quite mean and cruel, unless they're a sociopath, which is, I've met a few. So, there goes the truck. So, as a preventative measure, I turned on everything, okay? No food at work. None. No food in the morning, no food at work. So at that point, I was basically fasting. I was doing what is called intermittent fasting. I was not aware that that was a thing. But when I brought it up to the doctor, they assured me that that was a thing, and so I checked it out, and it is, very much so. And I was doing it to the extreme. And just like any challenge, I want to take it further. I want to try harder. And so I did. I was very quick to push that time further and further as a means to challenge myself through that kind of torture. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I do like some pain. I have put myself through some crap for other people's enjoyment and also for my own personal gratification toward the ending. This wasn't any different. Any food, any drink, anything but water, I couldn't eat. And you can imagine the hell that it was. It was utter hell for a long time. Stomach would growl and roar, and that was embarrassing all the time, but also I would have hunger pangs like crazy. It would consume my thoughts. You know how hard it is to go out to lunch at a pizza place but not eat the pizza? I looked at it as conditioning training. That's what it was. I was conditioning myself to turn things down. And I got really good at it too. So much so that I was eating, some days I was eating 0 calories. I had found foods that had no calories in them. So pickles, for instance, 0 calories, nothing. Just iceberg lettuce, nothing. Olives, very few calories. Anything like that, I started to put into the fridge. I could pull those things out. The saltiness from those things was enough to kind of shock the taste buds. It tricked the mind too. So I could eat like 4 or 5 of those little pickle chips and I would be fine for another hour. The problem is that I nearly fainted every time I stood up. That is very inconvenient. However, the biggest thing that inspired vigilance was going to the doctor the next month, and I had lost 15 pounds. 15 pounds in a month. I just kept going, dude. I started to move. I changed what I did when I got home. All the way up until October, shit, I would be out and about until 5 or 6. I wouldn't come home. Even if I got off work early, I wouldn't come home. Because if I came home, I would become complacent. Then when I got home, go walk, go do something, move, clean,